How many ways will Labour find to insult pensioners? The list is already long, and today they've added yet another disgraceful entry. It's becoming a hallmark of Keir Starmer's Labour, a party seemingly determined to alienate the very people who have contributed to this country for decades. First, Chancellor Rachel Reeves set the tone for Labour's approach to the elderly with a brutal, cold-hearted move, scrapping the winter fuel payment. This decision affects over 2 million vulnerable pensioners, leaving them to face the biting chill of winter without crucial financial support. For many, this payment wasn't just a bonus, it was a lifeline. Without it, how are they supposed to stay warm? And in a cost-of-living crisis, where energy prices are still soaring, this decision feels not just out of touch, but outright cruel. But Reeves didn't stop there. Moments later, she delivered another devastating blow, killing off the proposed £86,000 cap on social care costs. Now, this cap wasn't perfect. It had its flaws. But at least it was a step toward limiting the financial devastation families face when dealing with care needs. Without it, thousands of pensioners will be forced to sell their homes just to cover the costs of nursing or residential care. Homes that were meant to be passed on to their children or grandchildren, gone in an instant. And if you thought Labour's betrayal of pensioners ended there, think again. Starmer pledged fair and fast compensation for the financial and emotional hardships they've endured. It was a promise that resonated. It gave hope to millions of women who felt abandoned by the system. But the moment Starmer secured their votes, he turned his back on them. Now those same campaigners are left in the cold, betrayed and abandoned once more. And if that wasn't enough, Reeves has also announced plans to impose inheritance tax on unspent pensions starting in 2027. Think about what this means. Pensioners who have worked their entire lives, saved diligently, and left something behind for their families, will now see those savings taxed again. It's a slap in the face, not just to pensioners, but to their loved ones. So why is Labour targeting pensioners so aggressively? Some suggest it's simple math. Pensioners are the age group least likely to vote Labour. In other words, this isn't about policy, it's about politics. It's about punishing those who won't support them at the ballot box. But today's announcement takes things even further. Labour announced a review of social care in England, supposedly aiming to build a national consensus for a new system to support older and disabled people. Sounds promising, doesn't it? But don't be fooled. Here's the reality. Governments don't create commissions to solve problems. They create them to delay solutions. This is political procrastination at its finest. Labour has tasked Baroness Casey of Blackstock with leading this review, giving her a deadline of, wait for it, 2028. Let's put that into perspective. Back in 2010, Sir Andrew Dilnot chaired a commission on care funding. He delivered his report in under a year, recommending the now abandoned £86,000 care cap. 14 years later, Labour has undone all that work with a single sentence from Rachel Reeves. Sir Andrew has every right to feel embittered. He's urged politicians across the board to face this crisis head-on, to grow up and stop playing games. But instead of stepping up, Labour has chosen to kick the can further down the road. By the time Baroness Casey's report is ready, we'll be staring down the 2029 general election. And that, my friends, is exactly the point. This isn't about fixing social care. It's about avoiding responsibility. It's a cowardly move, plain and simple. Keir Starmer has effectively admitted that he's not planning for the long term because he knows his party won't win the next election. Let's not forget why social care is such a political minefield. Remember the infamous dementia tax from the 2017 election? That ill-fated policy nearly destroyed Theresa May's premiership, leaving her reeling and vulnerable. Social care has been the third rail of British politics ever since. untouchable. Starmer knows this, and he's chosen to do what weak leaders do best: nothing. His strategy is clear: do nothing, say nothing, and hope the problem lands in someone else's lap. But while politicians play their games, and what makes Labour's approach so galling is the sheer audacity of their betrayal. They promised fairness, they promised change, and instead they've delivered nothing but broken promises and cruel cuts.